Well, good morning, good afternoon, everybody, and happy 2026. After 365 plus programs last year, we are so excited to be diving into another amazing year with you here at Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. As many of you know, what we do is showcase the coolest scientists and explorers on planet Earth, and we are kicking this year off with a bang yet again. Last year, we started live at the McMurdo Dry Valleys in Antarctica, live on a frozen Lake Frixel. Today, we are starting again in Antarctica, this time at the South Pole. Now, if you've been joining us, we've been partnering with the amazing folks at Reach the World, who have been doing an incredible job following along with the amazing Sarah. Now, Sarah is down at the IceCube Neutrino Observatory. We are doing elite and amazing physics at the South Pole, which is super, super cool, and we are going to learn a little bit about why that is. Now, the only caveat to this is that when you're doing a live broadcast from the South Pole, sometimes there are mild tech hiccups. And so in this case, the deal is that Sarah can talk to us and we can see and hear her, but she can't see and hear us. So what I'm going to do is turn it over to her in a minute. She's going to dive into her presentation, and then we are going to take all the questions in the chat on the side. So share all your questions on YouTube, share all your questions on StreamYard. We are going to get ton to Sarah in just a minute. And then in the broadcast, she's also going to try and walk outside at the South Pole for us, which worked in December, and fingers crossed it works again today. Without further ado, I'm going to bring her in to take us away. So let's get to it and go for it, Sarah. Here we are, and so nice to have you. Yeah.
Right. Buddy, can you guys hear me okay? My name is Sarah Bouckoms, and I'm here at the South Pole. And I'm sure Jesse just gave a great, excited to be here with you guys. Okay, awesome. You can hear me. Fantastic. Well, I changed my venue. I'm still at the, but I am in the library. I have with me our cat pillow, because remember, there's no animals here in Antarctica. So you just hold this cat pillow and pretend that thing, because this is the closest that you get. And remember that you once lived in a world where animals. Right. Slides are loading, and I've got some amazing. I feel like, was it only a couple weeks ago I was talking to you? It might have been a lifetime, because we had barely started last time that I did a live stream, and now we're number 5. I can't believe it. It's so incredibly fast, and everything is a bit of a whirlwind, and there's things that happened in there between as well. So great things to tell you about our Christmas celebrations and New Year's and the pole marker, and done outside involving exercise, as if I don't spend my entire day outside anyways. So I've got some. I don't see those slides there yet, Jesse. Are they showing for you as I read the chat?
Yep. Yes, slide showing. Okay. Sorry, folks, by the way, so there's a little bit of delay, as you can hear, with Sarah and I. So I've got to play things, and when I have
showing.
Up
okay,
to full screen,
I will go through the slides. Hopefully you guys can see them. Cool. So where our upgrade at the South Pole. So this is the Neutrino Observatory, and we're doing an addition to the that we had before. So we're drilling 7 new holes and 700 instruments, and I'll tell you all about that. But that's a neat little intro. Yeah, and you know, my name is Sarah, and I'm the safety officer. So, but my primary job title is the safety officer. So I make sure that people are getting home to pet their cats. Yes, so a little bit about me, in case this is the first time that you are chiming in. But I love anything outdoors, whether it's horseback riding or trail running. I love rock climbing and ice climbing. I have my degrees in physics with the IceCube Neutrino Observatory. I'm also a wilderness medicine instructor, and an Explorers Club member, lots of things, but mostly I like to, and I've been doing that since I was a young little girl. As you can see that photo of me with a snowman, and of me when I was older with a snowman, so I guess that doesn't change, but I guess that's good. A little bit about me. I'm Sarah. I'm doing safety at the South Pole. So last time I left off with you guys, we were barely starting drilling, and now we're on hole number 5. So incredibly exciting to see how much progress we have. Zooming back again, right? So Pole, what are we doing here? All of this whole entire dedicated for peace and science is the Antarctic, is being supported right now by this South Pole Station where I am. That is its Antarctic program and funded by the National Science Foundation. 55 other stations out there funded by other Antarctic programs, but the one that I'm working at is funded by the NSF, and we are here with that mission to do science and promote a peaceful atmosphere at the South Pole. I can't other peaceful to right now. So, who am I working with? I said this IceCube Observatory. Well, there's a lot of science happening, and that takes people to get the science to happen. So this is a group of us with t-shirts, and please note that green grass in the background. I haven't seen grass in like 2 months now. This was in Madison, Wisconsin, where I went for training in August, and we all got together and we worked out how we were going to work some different protocols. We did a lot of safety briefings, and we had a great time together and got to know our team, and now we're full. So here's a photo of our team, and most of our team, some of the people have changed, but most of us currently here are just about 54 of us on station right now, up into different shifts and working 24/7 around the clock to work on this drilling project that we're doing. There's a lot more people that are not here, boots on the ground. We come from the IceCube collaboration, which is a organization with over 200 plus people. So sometimes we're emailing people in other parts of the continent, in other different time zones. Literally, it is a global project working with this IceCube Upgrade. So that's the thing to have such a great collaboration of everybody. Some of us are lucky enough to be boots on the ground right now, right here at South Pole Station. Okay, more of the science. This is the stuff that I really love. So we're trying to find these neutrinos, and we're doing this by taking a cubic kilometer of ice and detectors that are roughly about the size of a basketball. And we have 5,000 of them in the ice. And did you know that every single one of them is individually named? Cool, huh? And this was completed in 2011. And I went to that completion party and finished up when I was doing my master's with IceCube. And we so much good data from it that we got funding to do an upgrade. So that's what we're trying to improve. And we want 7 more strings and over 700 new instruments. And so far we have 4 strings compiled, and we're working on drilling our 5th string and then putting in another. Right now, the drill is up as I'm speaking to you. That is happening right now outside here at the South Pole. So we're drilling these massive holes in the ice, putting these detectors in. They freeze in forever, and they basically are a giant butterfly. See it in this photo here too. So all of these neutrinos are traveling really neutrinos. Have I told you guys what a neutrino is? Are you wondering? Sometimes they're called the little ghost particle because they're explosive and very hard to detect. So these particles are traveling all the way through Earth and interacting in the ice. And we have these detectors in there. They have photo multiplier tubes in there. If you're not quite sure, it takes a little bit of light and blows it up into a lot of light. So we can get more of these little light packets. Not actually like an explosion blows up, but like it takes one little bit of light and makes many, many more of them. That's why it's called. So we can see the light that's emitted when a neutrino interacts and then carries on its way, basically undeterred. A bit of energy that it lets go, we can see in the Antarctic ice because it's such a pristine that the light is able to propagate through really easily. because neutrinos are no more likely to interact through me, through you, anyway. Like, did any of you guys watching feel any neutrinos going through you right now? No? Okay, cool. That's good. Because that's what we're trying to do here at the South Pole. Find these neutrinos, and we're trying to do this with the cubic kilometer of ice and make a bigger, better butterfly net, if you will. Elusive little ghost particles. And when we do see one, this is what, Jesse, I'm hoping you're on the slide that says neutrino, the ghost particle, and it looks like there's a rainbow of light. So that's what the light, when we are able to see what it looks like. So it's just like a cascade of light. Yeah, cascade of light traveling through the ice. Okay. That's what we're trying to do. And we're doing that by drilling into the ice and installing these detectors. So I'm going to talk more about the nuances of drilling now that I've got a lot more experience with it. So first, there's lots. Every single time before we have a shift, we all get together into this room where we keep the coffee and the tea and the water. Very important room out at drill camp. And part of my job is to make sure that it's restocked, because you got to stay hydrated and hungry. If your basic needs are not met, you can't do fancy things like drilling if you're like, I'm hungry. So we have this meeting before, and we talk about what the previous shift has done, what concerns we have, what things went well, we pass that on to the next shift, because I said we're working 24/7 around the clock. I don't know, because summertime, the sun is always up. So you could wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and the sun is up. So it doesn't really matter what time of the day it is. You just get used to sleeping when the sun's up and close the blinds and you go about your business. So we're very easily able to have people working all the time. So we pass the next shift on, and then we can get to work. What happens after that? We go to these buildings. So this next slide, this is a photo of the TOS and the DHF. I know a lot of different acronyms. So the tower is basically the big tall building in the back there. And the TOS is like the tower operating system, where we have our computers and our control panels and where the drill actually goes. DHF, the DOM handling facility. That's that building on the right where we load up all these before we deploy them. So that's how it starts. Oh, here's the hoses and these cables. My coworkers are amazing photographers. Yuya took a lot of these ones, but you can see, I took the bottom one. These cables, these giant hoses that are filled with hot water, it comes up over the top through these crescents, which is basically like these giant wheels, and it holds the weight of these, and it drops down into the tower, and then we can lower the hose and the drill head. So all these cables, and then there's that orange cable on the right, that's used to basically hold the weight of the hose, because it's so heavy and we need to have something strong to be able to support its weight. And here's some of the main hose, and you can see on the left there, it's coming and dropping down into this hole that we have. And you can't, and again, this is where it comes from safety. We put this cover over, it's just a blanket, like a tarp, because we don't want anything. I mean, the biggest concern would be the people, but we still don't want things like pens or scissors or drills, anything that we're working on, we can't have it falling in the hole. So we have to, everything has to be on a string, and we cover up the hole that nothing falls in by accident. There's a big platform underneath it so that no humans fall in the hole. Cool. Really neat photos of this hose. And did you know this hose is made out of Ferrari rubber? Like top quality, made in Italy and sent down to the South Pole, because it has to have water going at PSI. That's a lot of pressure, and an 80 degrees Celsius water, which is boiling point. So we need rubber to be really strong. So good stuff there with our main drill hose. Some more cool pictures. This is a nice black and white photo. You can just see the hose coming down through the top, lowering in, and you see that blanket around it. Neat shots. Here's some more. Can you see that? That's Terry. He's standing next to that drill head. You can see how massive it is. And that's the drill head, what we're into the ice. So it's this really high pressure water that's able to push out the ice and drill down and make this massive hole. So it's an pretty big hot water drill like this. More pictures, because pictures always on the left. Can you see that? That's looking down the hole with a cable and an instrument detectors into the ice, and it goes down 2,460 even deeper. So we're lowering these detectors on these cables a mile to the ice. Insane. Whew. Oh, proof.
For Twin Otter, Bravo Bravo Victor have been canceled for weather. Again, all missions today for Twin Otter have been canceled for weather. Thank you.
Ha! Now you know I'm not at the local library. Head announcement saying that the Twin Otter missions today are canceled due to weather. And if we get to go outside, you'll see the ping pong ball, and that's not ideal conditions for flying. So they just made that announcement that the flights today are canceled. I don't need to leave the South Pole yet, but there's still some of my coworkers that are trying to do some other missions. Anyways, back to drilling. We've got these photos. You can see this cable of everybody working on it. And I also love that photo on the left to the top. Driller's tape that we have to use. And I've got some pictures coming up, but we have to tape the cable to the so that they stay together and they don't get tangled up and twisted down there. So we tape it when it's going down every 3 meters, and we going up, and it's a big ordeal, but leave it to me to find this mundane task and make it fun. One of the things that we do is I draw pictures on it. So then when my coworkers are coming up, they get to untape one cartoon, or we write little notes, and you just write it one word at a time. So you tell a joke and you just space out every single word. So it takes a while, but it helps keep people focused on the task and not get distracted. Plus it's fun, and as well as do some awesome science. Here's some more photos of instruments. There we have my coworker, Leah, and she's standing next to her WOM. So those are some instruments that she has. Cool. They're really long and tall, so a different type of instrument, not like our most, because we've got a bunch of different that we're sending down to try and learn more about the ice. And so that's one of the special ones. And then you have a photo of me, and I'm with an MDOM. So that's very similar to our first generation detectors, but instead of multiplier, has a lot. And those ones, this is the names. This is something that IceCube is. Every single one is named in Gen 2, or we're not. Of course, we named detectors as well, and so we made some of the detectors in Germany named after disco songs that named in or were made in the United States, and those ones Taylor Swift songs. So it's been going and listening to some playlists and finding your favorite song, all Champagne Problems, and this one I can't take from my favorite movie in the soundtrack. So it's fun down there working. Personalize what you're doing. It also helps, like, oh, this bomb's ready. Instead of calling it like 2, 3, 5, you can be like, oh, can't take my eyes off of you, is ready to go. So what we're doing down here, installing disco songs into the ice. Oh, but then there's these other detectors, different shapes, and they kind of look a bit like an egg because they're oblong. And so every single one of those is some sort of animal that comes from an egg. So a lot of birds and a lot of reptiles. And I got to help install one called Cape, which is one of my favorite birds. And I see it all the time when I'm working on the Antarctic Peninsula. It's just beautiful. And they just gliding over the water. Stunning, stunning seabirds. And I got to help install that one and set up the weights. It was just so fun. And it's really neat to learn. And a lot of these names are like scientific. And I'm like, I don't know what that lays an egg or that type of reptile, but some of them you can actually just read off. So it's been really fun seeing the names of the instruments that come through. Oh, there's a good photo of a DXC, how it's a little bit more stretched out and it kind of looks like an egg. So all of those detectors are named after something that comes from an egg. And then there on the left is a great photo shot of everybody as that we were finishing one of the strings, and we're all happy and smiling, and that's the night. And it was a great job getting some of these strings done and everything deployed. And then when all those the ice, we have to drag the cable into this pit, this junction box pit, where up these cables running to the IceCube laboratory, that building that you can see in the back with those two on the side. So we have cables running to the juncture box, and then we have to hook the cable that we just installed from the string, and then they'll all go to the servers and be able to talk with the computers, and we'll have then fully installed the string. And there's a whole group of people here with commissioning, that are programming, and they're like, oh, this detector is talking to us, this one is, and they're helping to make sure that everything is going behind the computer. So different aspects and a lot of different jobs, whether you're on the drill team, their install, or you're commissioning. Everybody is different, amazing skill set to the team, and we couldn't. So it's everybody come together and actually make this magic happen. Some more technical things about how we do this. The boilers, right? I said we had to have 88 degrees Celsius water, really hot, just at the boiling point of water. And we do that by taking the water boilers and the preheat system, really superheated, and you can tell that we're drilling when you can see the smoke. Sometimes I can be at station and yep, we're still drilling, because you can tell that all the smoke is coming out of all these MHPs, the main heating buildings with the boilers in them. And there's a lot of energy in there. Cool. I don't know if any of you guys like graphs and tables, but I'm a scientist. Them, and you don't need to understand everything on this table, but there was one thing that is really amazing. One of our PIs, Albrecht, pointed it out, and I just wanted to show this to you. If we're looking at hole number 1, to the bottom, days since last hole, 15 years up and running, and gotten the people trained up and everything working so that we were able to drill a hole for 15 years. And then by hole number 2, 6 days. Hole number 3, 5 days. Hole number 4, also 5 days. So we are just getting so fast and really efficient, and that's not just is going smoothly. Every single hole, we're getting a problem. And trust me, it's a different, fun, new, and exciting problem that we get to solve. And we're still crushing all these time scales, and we're almost done with our 5th hole. So it's really incredible perspective that we are using gear and training people up that hasn't been done in 15 years. So been awesome. That first drilling start was the 20th of December, and I talked to you guys before that, and we finished drilling and we celebrated it on Christmas. Like, what could be a better Christmas to install a detector? Like, nothing could be better. So yeah, that's drilling hole number 5. Oh yeah, okay. I said I liked graphs. Can you guys see this graph? Okay. On the left-hand side, on your y-axis, we have depth. And on your x-axis, on the top, we have time. So drilling down how deep we're going and how long it takes us to get up. Can you see hole number 1? Hole number 1, 87, 96 hours. Yeah, we were supposed to take like 50, 90. But you know what? I said we had some problems to work through them. But look, number 3, we cut it down to 88 hours. Or that took like 68 hours, and then we got down to our 54-ish hours. We improved, or was even faster too. So you can see how we're able to go down and come back up with our faster and more. Just so beautifully displayed in this graph, thanks to my coworker Jennifer. In science, able to display your scientific information in a good graphic is like, oh, nothing. So I graph with you. Cool. If we are moving on, again, reminding you guys safety, because I'm sure that's going to be a question that you might want to know. So here we have a photo, and maybe heads, but what is involved here? Oh gosh, I made a typo here to make sure people are safe. This photo, we're working around the hole, and I told you this is 2,640 meters deep. That's crazy high. We don't want anybody or anything falling in that hole. So happen, you can see that there's fall protection. So the people working around the hole have harnesses on and look like a leash, and it's bolted to the wall. So that makes sure that no one is necessarily so close to the hole. But what happens if you were to trip and fall when that hole is open? That would be terrible. So we stop that from being a worry by putting a harness on somebody. And you can also see that people have hard hats on. Sometimes they might need hearing protection if there's loud noises in some of the power plant where the motors are, or maybe they need to have eye protection or eye goggles if they're working with fuel, or it's really windy and cold. They need to make sure they have hats and warm things on. All of that comes under my job as safety, making sure that people have the right gear to get home. Cats. Yeah, so that's just a little bit about what I'm doing with it. Oh, yes. Okay. Are you guys ready for the fun stuff? Because I love my job, but sometimes you need to relax by the fact that you're at the South Pole, and you should go check out the article on the Reach the World and Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants webpage. I have some information there about the traditions, but I'll show you some photos of it too. Maybe I'm a little bit crazy by now, but I really like to run, and that's not exclusive to warm places. Here in Antarctica. In fact, there was a lot of us that were a little bit crazy. And on Christmas Day, we raced around the world. And it's run here every single year. And basically, a loop around station. We've run through every single time zone in that time period. We ran around the world. And I was able to do that in 24 minutes. Not quite, which was my coworker, Curtis. And the slowest person was 42 minutes, but mind you, they were and wanting to make sure that everybody got in okay. But if you can see that photo, I'm all there on some other pictures of it too. But yeah, there's a whole crew of us that were running out there on Christmas Day for 2 miles. Yep, a photo of me, and Santa Claus happened to be there too. And I dressed up as a polar bear. Polar bears are there at the South Pole. One, and it's me, and that's made everybody run faster. Bear chasing them. So it was really fun, and it was silly, and there was a bunch of ridiculous costumes, and some people decided to take the fat bike tires out and cruise around on those, and some people skied. A couple different modes of transport, and there you can see me running past the South Pole Telescope, which is another here looking at the cosmic microwave background. So it was really fun to do that big loop and go through all the telescopes and South Pole, the ceremonial and geographic, and it's a beautiful sunny day, obviously. But it was not, there wasn't any wind, so it was really perfect actually. And there's some more IceCubers, silly costumes and Santa hats, and my friend dressed up as a penguin, so I figured if you could have a penguin and a polar bear South Pole, that anything in the world is possible. And we even had a special guest star. We took that hadn't passed all of its tests and probably wasn't going to go into the ice. We put a Santa hat on it and dragged it around. So we had an M-Dom that did the race around the world too. That was really, really fun and silly. What else do we have? Oh, so also on the day after Christmas, we went sledding. So Fleet Ops had worked snow out from around the station because it gets drifted in. So they put it all in this big pile, smooth, nice and flat. And we have some sleds. So we were able to go sledding. And I love sledding. I did it all as a kid. And it was just like really fun to feel young and silly again. So a bunch of us all went out and we you can see that photo on the right, how it is really, really steep and some more silly cars. It was a great time. And here's the next slide. So you can really see how tall it is, especially in that photo on the right. People down there, you can get some perspective that we were pretty high up. And it you know what, you have to do at least one thing every day that scares you. And I'm glad that it was the sledding that I did it. And fine, it was okay. You just held on to your sled and rocketed down and saw how far you could go, or how many different people you could on the sled, or if you had the heaviest person in the back or the heaviest person in the front, when would you go further? Because of course I can't take and I'm like, how is this going to go faster? Yeah, how can I reduce the friction? It was great. It was a lot of fun. Sledding, did that a bunch of times. Oh, yes. Another great mission at South Pole. And this was really cool because this was also my first time getting to do this. Every single winter, rovers vote and create their own winter marker for the next. So I was at South Pole in 2022, and I got to help design the pole marker that to be placed at the pole, but I left in November, so I was never here in January for this ceremonial pole. Of course, I was out there like 15 minutes before we were even supposed to start, with my friend being like, okay, I'm so ready for this. Came out with this big pole, and it was wrapped up in a pillow slip with a cargo strap tie on it. Massive unveiling, and it was so cool to see everybody. And somebody came out with pipes, and there was a speech, and it was so this is the 2025 Winter Rover design, and they have 7 different panels on it, and each is attributed to something that helps make the station run. So it's the power plant, it's the water, it's the sparkies or the electricians, the carpenters, everything sort of like all these that work towards getting things to function down here, because it's so important. Like, I'm in a room right now with electricity that I have to think about in my day-to-day, because there's somebody here who's working at the power plant, making sure that the heat and the lights stay on and the toilets flush. So this is the first pole marker in the history of South Pole that has a toilet on it. If the toilets didn't flush, we would be concerned, but they are, because that is somebody's job as the plumber down here. So it's a really to all the utilities that go to make sure that South Pole stays a functioning place, and plus can come in and work and not need to worry about those things. So that was a really cool tradition. And from last year, on the next slide, that had all the different science telescopes in the dark sector. So it was cool to change. Yeah, pretty fun. Ooh, what else have we done? As I like to run, even in cold places, apparently. So this was just on Sunday. And what was I gonna do with my time? Sleep? I did do some of that, but I also ran a marathon, and I was Curtis again was at 7 hours and 56 minutes. So go him. But I got for being the slowest, but I still ran a whole entire marathon and was outside for 7 hours and 56 minutes. And the weather was minus 26 Celsius with a little bit of wind chill that picked up at the end, but it was still like minus 40 Fahrenheit, minus 40 Celsius. So like you could not ask for, you had up, but I just popped in my audiobook and ran the first half. I definitely, I'm not gonna lie, I was getting tired. But it was a great experience that I did. Proved, you know, a lot of mental strength out there, and you can do anything. It was a lot of fun. The costumes as the race around the world, but someone still did wear their kimono. Frozen beards and chilly faces. One of the ice cubers ran in his PJs with fleece pants underneath. So it was a lot of fun and smiles, and there was a great support crew out there making sure we had snacks and shelters and driving around checking on us. So there's a lot of safety. Somebody else was doing safety so that I could go out there and fun and just plateau, and it's glistening and ice, and then run around the telescopes and down. It was really cool. I'm glad I did it, and I slept for like 9 hours the night after that. I got some more photos here too. This is a little side tangent. To show them to you last week or last time we talked. There is also another article about the traverses, some of the tractors that brought us our supplies. So there's South Pole Overland Traverse and the head, and they travel from McMurdo to South Pole on their tractor supplies for station, not just for IceCube, for the whole entire station. But they brought some critical pieces of gear, so I wanted to show off some of these tractors that were I don't know if you can see who's driving one of those, but there's a giant stuffed penguin in there. I assure you that they are operating those machines, and they have a great time driving, just like Sir Edmund Hillary did from Cross Island to the South Pole. It's become a pretty critical part of our logistics and infrastructure. We're almost done and can take some questions soon, but I just wanted to show you this photo of me with the drill head, get some more ideas, and the flag exploring by the seat of your pants. So that is a cool shot of an action of me at drill camp. Right, okay, I think that was my last slide, and I'm sure I've ran far too fast, but I get excited about science, and I've never been able to slow down about that. But yeah, so that's scientists doing safety at the South Pole, and I'm here with the IceCube Upgrade, and we are trying to find neutrinos. And as always, finishing on that quote from Aspley Cherry Gerard, which is the worst journey in the world. My exploration is the expression of the intellectual passion. So hope you guys are curious and turning over rocks looks like, and maybe it involves drilling 2,000 meters in depth. Whatever you're doing, have fun and stay with that curiosity. Surely you guys have some questions for me. Cool. Reading that chat. Just what do you eat every day? Breakfast, I usually have a smoothie, also eggs. We're out of fresh eggs, so like egg juice, which is pureed eggs. And sometimes I'll have porridge, some cereal. Sometimes I'll have bacon or sausage. Sometimes I make myself a little egg sandwich. I had Marmite and cheese on toast this morning. And then lunch, we get a whole bunch of different things. Sometimes it's hot dogs, sometimes it's burgers. We've had some really lentils lately, and we had this poke bowl that was really good. A bento chicken box. The chefs here do the best that they can with what they've got. I wish I had more freshies, but we have not. So a lot of frozen vegetables is what we eat. Okay, question number 2. What do the detectors have? Why do the detectors have to be at the South Pole? Good question. Believe it or not, the South Pole is actually the most efficient of this detector in the whole world. We have the most ice anywhere on the planet. We've got 4 centered over at the South Pole, and it could be somewhere else on the Antarctic ice cap, but the South Pole Station's here, the Amundsen-Scott South Pole Station. So that makes it logistically easy, where we have a place where there's food and water and shelter already. So that's why we picked this spot in Antarctica, where there is the most ice, and create ice somewhere else on the planet. But there's so much pressure and density put on the ice, and there's not a lot of new fresh precipitation, that it gets really concentrated and the air get pushed out. So it's a really pristine, solid chunk of ice that will travel through really well. Like light doesn't travel through rock or walls, it gets stopped, but it's able to. And there are other neutrino detectors in the world. There is Lake Baikal and the Sudbury Neutrino Observatory, and there's the Antares or KM3 net in the Mediterranean. In another world, maybe I could have worked in the south of France on a new, but why would I want to do that when I can work in a place where it's minus 30 outside? So places, but no other place detection medium of ice and the scale of it like we. So the neutrinos are not more like in the world, but we are just able to see them easier, and the way that the light propagates through the ice. I hope that answered that question. How much longer are you down there? A month. I'm at a month. 10 more months ago, and I've been here 2.5 months. I got here November 5th. I should be able to get home by Valentine's Day. If planes fly, we'll see how that goes. We got a lot to do in this next month. Question number 4. And people visit Antarctica or the South Pole specifically? I also work as a guide in the tourism industry. And yeah, people can go on cruise ships and visit the Antarctic Peninsula. That's another place to work. But believe it or not, they can also visit the South Pole. We have tourist flights. So people fly into the South Pole. They get an hour and a half here, go to the ceremonial pole, take their gear, and get back on the plane and leave. And they pay a ridiculous amount of money. And I get to be here and support science. So I feel incredibly privileged that I'm getting paid and I'm doing science here. Yes, people can come visit, but if I were you, I'd try and get a job here at South Pole and support science, because that feels like it's a more meaningful purpose for visiting this place. But
Yeah.
Okay, you guys have got some good ones. Can we try and go outside before wrapping up? Yes, we can give it a go. I can try and log on my phone, and I can also try on my screen, and we can see how it goes. Do we have more questions? Or I know if we do need to wrap up, if you guys have questions, you can ask Jesse, and I can answer them via email. Definitely stay engaged.
Certainly, yes. All right.
Looking at the chat, any more questions? Are we wanting to go outside? We're going to give this a go?
Outside.
Try that first, and then we'll see. Okay.
There we go. Yes. So as Sarah said, if you have any extra questions after the broadcast is done, please do email them to me. I'll pass them along to her. She's going to try and go outside now. We're going to see if the connection holds. It did in December.
Zulu, that's what it is. Which is a different place than I took you outside before. So, okay, bear with me. I hope you don't get motion sick, but this is the library. I'll just do a quick spin so you can see all of the books. And it's a great place to read, to nap, to play cards, to have a quiet conversation with your friends or journal. So I definitely love hanging out in the library. Oh, I forgot my radio. I can't go anywhere without my radio. I was listening to it. Just had an announcement about the flight, so that was all. There's like the most amazing collection of Antarctica. Believe it or not, when I'm not here, all I can Antarctica, but when I'm in Antarctica, I can't. So I'm reading a book about crossing the Sahara Desert. They're out in the hallway. Let's see how this works. Gus, are you still there? Passing the laundry. Passing, there's no plants in it. Section. There's a gift store and the mailroom. I'm waiting for friends. Okay. And let's go outside. Good thing to put on more clothes. Yeah.
Wants to work. Just thinking about it. Oh, we might have lost her. Let's see.
Okay. Can you see? I can see on the screen. Oh, hey, Tim.
Hello.
Yeah. So this is outside one of the cargo bays where we see some of the berthing wings there. Not sure if the glare is right. You can hear some tractors working, and our ski hill, our sledding hill is there in the background. And this is some of the buildings out there. There's a hyper, which is one of the accommodation blocks. So that's where I live in Wilma. And Scott and Shackleton had it. And yeah, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's pretty white. You can see it's all today because of these whiteout conditions. There you go. Oh, I'm outside and it's not that cold. It's only minus 30 Celsius. Pretty much t-shirt weather. Yeah, okay. So I'm inside. I don't know if it's still working, but you can get an idea. This is what it looks like to be outside at the South Pole Station. And there's cargo, and you can see it's white, and you can hear the trucks. Alrighty. It's still working. Okay, this is great. All right, I'm coming back inside, Jesse.
Sweet. Come
Looks
on
like-
back in. Oh,
Are we still there?
we're still there. Yeah, still there.
It's still working?
Still
Good.
here.
We're inside?
Yeah.
Final question. What is the favorite part of this? What is my favorite part of this? I'll just pop into the laundry room so you guys can station. This is where we do laundry. My favorite, the people. It's always got to be the people. Everybody thinks Antarctica is great because of the penguins, because we don't have any penguins. The only ones are ones that dress up in onesies and run around the world and race around the world. Yeah, it's the people. I'm working with a great team of people, and we each have such an accomplished, brings so willing to learn from each other and teach each other, and just really good work ethics and super motivated. Yeah, it's always the people, everybody down Like, I've got some really great friends, and Antarctica can be boring and flat and white, and you're not going to get any stimulation from the outside world in that regard. So the people that I come down here with, whether I've known them before or for years, and they become some of my best friends off ice, or the people that I've just met this season on IceCube, it's always going to be the people. Cool.
Man, I'm going to leave it up there. Sarah, just thank you so much for your time, your passion, your expertise. I want to stress for all our audience online, check out IceCube. There's so much more you can explore and discover there. And you can follow along with Reach the World's incredible resource hub, where Sarah is filling in pictures, videos, stories, and more, blogs from Live on the Ice, all the amazing work that she's doing. We'll be doing some more live broadcasts, of course, in the weeks to come to talk about more of their incredible drill work. And I just want to thank you all as an audience for kicking off 2026 with a bang with us. I know the connection could be a little iffy at the bottom of the world, but we really appreciate you being here, and we hope you'll join us for many more in the weeks and months to come. Farewell, everyone, and bye for now. Thanks.